cool and rock and roll with the distortion you put on it there. I feel like I want to rock. All right, meanwhile, back at the ranch, I should tell you this. I grew up in Texarkana, Texas. That's East Texas. Hey, here's what I'm going to do. I'm gonna speak to my friends out here, and I'm going to plug back into the acoustic number 2 line, and then see if you guys can get to the bottom of that sucker, and then we'll see where we're at. All right? Well, as I said, grew up in Texarkana, Texas, and it's East Texas now. Here's what I need to know. Here's what you need to get into tonight, because it feels already to me like, I mean, even with these problems going on, it feels like we're sort of just sitting together in the living room or something. Does it feel like that to you? It feels like that to me. And you know that would never really happen. It's not you, it's me. I'd show up on your door and you'd open it and you'd say, "Oh, look, Hobo stole a guitar," and you know, there's no way to guarantee that. I had this guy, this friend of my dad's. He worked for my dad. Actually, it was named Gary Mills. Yeah, you can have a seat if you want to. You're making me tired. I might sit down myself. All this stress. Well, this guy, Gary Mills, worked for my dad. When Gary wasn't in jail, he worked for my dad, and he's like a hero of mine. I thought he was just the most clever man that ever walked the planet. He's just very industrious. Here's by way of examples. I just want you to know who you've invited to your living room. That's what I'm trying to get at. Now, here's the thing. We're almost genius from that part of the world. I mean, it's so close. It's just so close. And by way of example, a couple things. Gary, one time he bought this van at a pawn shop, and that's supposed to be a punchline of sorts. In the end, I think we might be the same people. You didn't laugh at all at that. Like this. My goodness, I feel right. No wonder I feel at home. Well, so anyway, believe it or not, you know, you walk in. That's kind of our leasing program or something. You walk in a pawn shop at $2, you buy a vehicle, and when it breaks down, you just leave it where it was, you know, just walk away, go get another one. That's what you see up there in East Texas on the side of the road. That's just our auto exchange program we've got worked out. Well, I know it's going to be a surprise, but this van on occasion was prone to a vehicular malfunction, you know. And I heard an acoustic guitar for a second. Oh my goodness! That can come down in my ears. I know I play pretty, but I don't want to listen to me that bad, you know. So I got to tell you about this van, though. We're already there, and we're already sitting in the living room and everything. So, it was probably vehicle malfunction. So, like for instance, one time the brake lights went out on the van, and so here's what Gary did. My people, being almost genius, and now I feel like we're one of the same, and so you appreciate this. He just spray painted "stop" on the back of the van, which is a good idea, because you know if Gary's driving by, you just best pull over and let him pass, and it'll work out on both ends. And another time, he said I was riding the back of the van. I was sitting on a love seat he had back there, and my feet were propped. I was a young kid, and my feet were propped up on something, and I was like, "Man, Gary, what's this? What are my feet on here?" And he says, "Oh, that's the gas tank." And I go, not being a mechanic at that point in my life, I said, "Well, I thought those belong out of doors mostly, and I hadn't seen them inside very many cars." And he said, "Well, my gas gauge broke." And still as a kid, I was like, "That makes no sense whatsoever, Gary. Explain yourself." And he says, "Well, now I just reach behind me and feel the tank to see how it pull over or not." But and almost genius. Now, the best moment though, it was one time the accelerator cable broke. You know, in a car, you got on the right side's the gasoline, and on the other side's the thing that stops it. And it depends on, you know, which letter it's on, which direction it's going. But here the cable broke that goes through the floorboard, and it winds around. And I don't know, Gabe, you know, in a van, that intrusion of plastics between the driver and the passenger.
I do.
Yeah, that's the engine. You're separated by mere plastics from a combustible engine. I don't think that's a good idea at all, but it broke in there, and so there's a little accelerator arm when he'd step on the pedal, it just wouldn't do anything. So here's what he did, being almost genius. my people. He drilled a hole in the little plastic engine cover and then ran a rope through it and tied it to the accelerator arm. Back out the hole, and that was his gas right there. Just pulling the rope and he'd go forward, back. Did not stop there though. He then cut a slit down from the hole and tied knots at different speed increments. Cruise control. That's cruise control in the end. Thank goodness he had stop painting on the back of the van, though. That's the truth. Turn ear to heaven and hear the noise inside. The sound of angels are the sound of angels' songs, and all this for a king. We could join and sing, all for Christ our King. Our constant divine, this song of ours will rise. Oh, our constant divine, this love of ours will rise. Will rise. Oh, praise Him. Oh, praise Him. He is holy. He is holy. Yeah, turn gaze to heaven and raise joyous noise. Sound of salvation come, sound of rescue ones, and all this for a king. Angels join to sing, all for Christ our King. Oh, praise Him. Oh, praise Him. He is holy. He is holy. Yeah. Oh, praise Him. Oh, praise Him. He is holy. Infinite and sweet, this love so rescuing. Oh, how infinitely sweet, this great love that has redeemed. As one we sing.